Good morning. Welcome to Zoho Meeting webinar. Today, we are going to see a complete overview of Zoho Meeting. Before we get started, please note that this webinar is being recorded and we'll also be sharing the recording. I hope I'm audible to everyone. You can confirm it over Q&A or even you can use emoji reactions and react with thumbs up or thumbs down emoji. As an introduction about myself, I'm Abdul Hannan from Zoho Meeting Support and I will be the presenter for today's session. I have an experience of about 3 years in this platform. The agenda for today's webinar is I'm going to start with a brief introduction to Zoho Meeting. We'll learn how to conduct meetings with real-time scenarios. We'll learn how to set up and manage your accounts along with integrations. If you have any questions during this session, you can raise it over Q&A. We have a dedicated Q&A experts who shall address your questions. Let's see the system requirements of Zoho Meeting. So we are compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux operating system. For hardware, you can use built-in plugged-in wireless speaker and microphone. And if you're connecting to a web camera, you can enable your video if required. You can join session easily on the go using our Android and iOS application, which you can download from App Store and Play Store. So now, why Zoho Meeting? An online meeting is a collaborative session with real-time audio, video, and screen sharing. You can initiate and join sessions from any part of the world and collaborate effectively using moderator controls. This online meeting is most helpful, particularly if you are engaged with remote work. So now let's see a quick walkthrough on Zoho Meeting. So you can log into meeting.zoho.com. Here is where you can conduct meeting sessions. To conduct an instant meeting, you can use the Meet Now option. You can either go with audio conference or video conference. So let me start in video conference and let me show how the presenter screen looks like. Once you click on the video conference, this is how the presenter screen looks like. So as it is an instant meeting session, before inviting any participants to your meeting, you can rename the title of your meeting from here. Once the title is edited, to invite the participants, you need not to go back to the meeting details page. On the screen itself, you can click on the invite option. So here you have an option to copy the link and you can share with your participant. You can copy the invitation and you can share with your participant, or you can invite them directly via email by entering their email address here. Or if you wish to provide them with a meeting ID and password, you can hover over the information icon here and you can give them the meeting ID and a password displayed here. And the participants can visit meet.zoho.com and enter the meeting ID and password to join the meeting. So now let me also join as a participant and let me show how the participant screen looks like. So the participants can join the session easily via web browsers just by pasting the link, as you can see here. They just need to provide their name, select their devices, and they can join the session. So this is how the participant screen looks like. Now going back to the presenter screen, you have an option of participants tab where you can view the list of participants. When you click on more options next to the participant name, you have an option to pin their video feed. If you want to highlight particular participants with their video feed, you can pin their video feeds. You can pin up to 8 video feeds in a session. You also have an option to give control or request control. So when the presenter is sharing the entire screen using the desktop application, you can have the remote access feature by giving control or requesting control. You can rename the participant or even you can remove the participant from here. If you have any important appointment to catch up, and if you want to leave the session without ending it completely, you can also promote any participant as co-host and you can just leave the session without ending it. The session will be carry forwarded by the participant. As a host, you have an option to request to unmute for participant and you will get moderator controls where you can mute all the participants. When you click on more option, you can also restrict participants to share the screens or unmute themselves from here. Next, we have an option to sort by name ascending or descending, and you can sort by time ascending or descending, and you can use filter options. Moving on, next we have is the chat window. This chat is powered by Zoho Click. So here you can send text messages, audio messages, even you can send emojis, and attachments can also be sent up to 1 GB of file size. Next we have is the notes. This notes is powered by Zoho Notebook. So during this session, you can take the important discussions which you have in the form of notes, Or in case if you want to refer to your previous meeting notes, you can click on this option. You have an option to view your past meeting notes. Or if you want to pick a session and view the notes, you can also click on all the notes and you can refer to your previous meeting session notes by selecting the title. So you can take multiple notes, and you can also apply templates by clicking on add. And if you want to take quick notes with a template, just apply this template from here. Next we have is the polls option. So during this session, if you want to gather some feedback from your participants, or if you want to get some opinion, you can create a poll by clicking on the add option. You can type a question. Answer can be a single choice, multiple choice, or a star rating. Once the poll is created, you can simply click on the add button. Poll will be created. And once you start the poll will be displayed on the participant screen like this. Now the participant can respond to the poll and they can submit to it. Their response will be received on the host screen. Now you have an option to publish the result, or you can click on back to list. You can also refer to this poll results once the session is over. Next we have is a toolbar. Here it will display the timer of this session. We have an option to unmute your video and audio from here. We have an option of share, where you can share your screen. You can share your entire screen, particular window, or particular Chrome tab alone. When you are sharing your entire screen, you also have an option of annotation. So with the screen sharing annotator, you can highlight something using the cursor option, text option, or pen option like this. The participant can see on their end like this. So next we have a share files option here. So during this session, if you want to play any video file or a PPT file or a PDF file without doing a screen share, you can use this share files option here. You can upload the file while scheduling this session, or else we have a dedicated files tab from where you can upload the files. All the uploaded files will be available here. During this session, you can pick the file and you can share it. This is particularly used for example, if you have your video, if you want to share it during this session without doing a screen share, you can just select the file and you can click on the attach. And you can click on share now. The file will be played on the participant's end like this. And they can also hear the audio of the video if the file is shared through the share files feature. And in case if you're using a Zoho work drive, you can also upload the files to your work drive account, and you can pick the files from your work drive and you can share it during the live session. Next we have is the quick toggles, where you can go back to participant screen, view chats, and we also have emoji reactions. The participants can react to your presentation by using emojis. And if any participant have any questions, they can also raise their hand. Under more options, you have quick toggles for meeting notes, and we also have a lock meeting option. So if you want to admit participants manually, you can lock your meeting sessions and participants will not be allowed unless you approve the request. So now I have logged the meeting. So let's see how it looks. So once the meeting is logged, and if you invite any participant to your meeting session, it will not allow them to your session directly. You can see here, it will show, please wait for meeting host to let you in. So now on the host screen, you will have this option where you can accept or reject the request. Next we have is the recording option. So either you can set up your meeting sessions to be recorded automatically as soon as the session is started, or you can start recording your session manually by clicking on start recording option. Once the session is recorded, you also have an option to pause and resume recording from here. Or if you want to get multiple recordings of a same session, you can also stop the recording and start it again like this. You can invite the participant from here as well. And if you do not want to view the video feed of your participant, you can click on stop incoming video. And you can change the layout from here. It can be tile view, active speaker view, sidebar view, or top bar view. Under settings, you can configure your audio and video devices. So during this session, if you want to change your audio device, you can select the microphone and speaker which are connected to your operating system from here. All the devices connected to your system will be displayed from where you can pick for this particular session. And in case of network connectivity issue, you can also switch to phone audio and you can dial the number provided here, enter the access code and PIN to join the meeting session. Similarly, you can change your video devices by clicking on video option here. In case if you're connecting to a USB external web camera, you can select the device from here and you can mirror your video feed as well. We also have an option to apply virtual background for your video feeds. Either you can blur your background, apply predefined images or GIFs or effects. We also have an option to upload a custom image. If you want to have your custom image as a background, you can select this option, upload the file from your device, and you can use this custom image as your virtual background. And you can also mirror your video background feed. Under preferences, you have an option of host control where you can allow participants to unmute, allow participants to share their screen. You can customize the notifications, you can choose your layout preference, and we also have other settings. Under network performance, you can view how good your network is. So now let's see a few of the scenarios. So is there a way for you to highlight or share thoughts while presenting a meeting? Yes, it is possible. So we have a whiteboard feature here. You can initiate your whiteboard. The whiteboard will be displayed on the participants end as well. Using the whiteboard, you can collaborate with your participants and they will also get the option on their end. So you can use the pen option here provided, the marker option, you can choose colors as well. You can insert shapes, can insert text and add images. You can clear the whiteboard or you can download the whiteboard and you can have multiple whiteboards like this. The last saved whiteboard will be available on your account from where you can refer to it once this session is over. So now what is picture in picture in Zoho Meeting and how you can enable it? So during this session, when you're doing a screen share, but if you also want to view the video feed of your active participants, then what you can do is you can launch the picture in picture option provided here. So this picture in picture tile will be available even if you move across to different screens like this. So through this picture in picture tile, you can view the video feed of your participants and you also have an option to mute your audio and video and you can go back to the main screen from here. You can also resize this picture in picture tile and you can also end this session completely from here. So in this way, while doing a screen share, if you want to view any video feed of your participants to see how they are reacting to your presentation, you can enable the picture in picture option. In this way, this can be useful for you. So is there a way for the host to split the meeting into multiple smaller rooms? Yes, it is possible. So recently we have released the breakout room feature option here. Using the breakout room feature, you can create the number of rooms which are required for this meeting session. Once the rooms are created, you can split the participants to a meeting room. So you can assign yourself to main room. As a host, you have an option, you have an access to all the rooms. So for participants, you can just drag the names of the participant and assign them to a room like this. So in this way, if you want to have effective conversation with individual groups, for example, if you have large number of participants, like 100 participants, and if you want to divide them in groups of 10 participants in each room, you can create multiple rooms and you can assign participants to individual rooms. And as a host, you can join their rooms and you can interact with their conversations. So in this way, you can have your meeting session more effective and impact. So can you download the chat transcripts and notes after the meeting? Yes. So once the session is over, so as a host on the end screen, you have an option to view or download the chat transcript, notes, polls, and whiteboard. And similarly on the participants, since they will not have an account, they can download the transcripts from the end session page. So now let's see how to schedule a meeting for later purpose. So now going back to the home screen, we saw the instant meeting option, meet now. So now to schedule a meeting for later purpose, you can click on the schedule button. The first thing you need to provide is the title of your meeting. And you can select your meeting type. Either it can be a video conference or audio conference. This can also be switched during the live session. Select the date and time when you want to have it, on which time you want to have it, and you can specify the duration here. And one more thing about the duration is the meetings will not be ended automatically on the specified duration. Unless the host or co-host ends the session will be active, meaning you can run sessions for as long as up to 24 hours. Time zone, you can select it from here. The default time zone, which is selected in your setting, will be set as default here. In case if you're scheduling a meeting for a different time zone, then you can pick it from this list. All the available time zones are mentioned here. And you can invite the participant from here. Just you can enter the email address, or if you want to have it like a contact, you can also log into contacts.zoho.com. So here you can import the contacts. So if you have a list of contacts to be imported to Zoho Meeting, which you can set to auto populate while scheduling a meeting, you can import the contact as a local file in CSV format or LDIF format or VCF file. Or if you want to import the contact from Google account, you can use this option, or from Microsoft account, you can use Microsoft option. Once the contacts are imported, so here on Zoho Meeting, on the participants tab, it will auto suggest the contacts while scheduling the session. So you can pick the contact instead of typing their entire email address, just pick the contact as a participant and schedule the meeting easily. Next is the agenda. You can give a brief description about what you're going to discuss on this meeting, and then you can click on the schedule button. So next, how can you create recurring meetings and add additional hosts to your meeting session? So on the same schedule page, you can click on the more options. So if you want your meetings to be repeated, then you can click on this recurring meeting option. You can select the repeat type. The frequency can be daily, weekly, monthly. So if you're going on week, you can also select on number of dates which you want the meetings to be repeated. And to add additional host to your meeting session, you can select the co-host option. Any user who is a part of your organization can be added as co-host while scheduling the session. So in case if you're unable to start the meeting session, the co-host who is a part of your organization, they can also start the meetings in the absence of host. You can set up multiple reminders. Minimum it can be 5 minutes before the meeting and 2 days before the meeting session, which will be the maximum. Sessions files can be assigned here, as we saw during the meeting, that you can play a video file or PDF file, PPT file without doing a screen share. Those files can be attached from here. You can pick the file, upload the file directly from your local machine, and all the uploaded files will be available under the My Files tab. From here, you can manage it. So now, how does end-to-end encryption works in Zoho Meeting? So recently we have released this end-to-end encryption option. So if you want your meeting session to be highly confidential and highly secure, so you can enable this end-to-end encryption option. Few features will be restricted when you're using this end-to-end encryption. Like you will not have an access to chats, you cannot record sessions, and you cannot use session files or transcriptions. So this indicates that the meetings which you have in the end-to-end will be highly transcripted, will be highly secure. So now, is there a way for your host, the participants to join this session without the host? Yes, it is possible. We have an option here, allow participants to join before the host. Once this option is enabled, the participants can join this session 1 hour before the scheduled time. So if the host is unable to start the meeting session, the participants can join the session without the host if this option is enabled. So now the meeting is scheduled here. In this is the meeting details page. Here you can find out the session details. In case if you want to edit the information of your meeting session, you can click on the edit option and it will take you back to your previous meeting page. And if you want to cancel this session, you can cancel it from here. Now this is the session which we have created. So now in case if you want to add more participants to your meeting session, you can edit this session from here and you can add on more participants. And if you want to promote manually, you can copy the link from here. Or if you want to view invitation and if you want to copy the invitation, you can copy this invitation and you can share with them manually. And here we also have an option of embed widget. If you have your own website and if you want to embed the meeting details into your website itself, so participants can come across to your website and join the session through your website, you can use this embed widget option, copy the iframe code which we provide here and embed directly into your website itself. So this is how the meeting is scheduled. To reminders will be automatically received via email as per your configuration. In case if you want to add to multiple calendars, you can use the add to calendar option here. An ICS file will be downloaded, which you can import to your preferred calendar. By default, it will be added to your email client calendar. For example, if you're using a Google account, your event will be added automatically to your Google calendar. Similarly, if you're using a Zoho account, it will be added to your Zoho calendar by default. So now how you can view the details of your previous meeting sessions. So to view the details of your previous meeting session, you can click on the meetings tab from here and we have the upcoming meetings tab and past meetings tab. So when you click on the past meetings tab, you can find out the list of meetings which you had from your account. So to view the details of your previous meeting, you can simply click on this option and you can refer to your previous meeting notes from here. Chats can be viewed from here. The transcripts, the whiteboard, polls, and if you want to repeat your meeting sessions, you can also click on the repeat option. You can easily create meetings with same number of participants which you had invited for this session. Is there a way you can reuse the meeting link multiple times? Yes. So we have a personal room option. So this personal meeting room provides you a static meeting. So the meeting ID and link will be constant in your personal meeting room. The security type can be always logged or password protected. So you can set up as per your configuration. And if it is password protected, you can also edit the password. It should be between 6 to 20 characters and it should include only alphabets and numericals. And meeting invite link can also be edited. So the default invitation link is like this. If you want to edit this and if you want to have your own domain details, you can input the details here. So this personal meeting room, this link will remain static for all your meeting sessions. You copy the link and you can share with your participants and they can join this session once the meeting is started. As it is a personal room, the title of this meeting can be edited after you start this session and co-host can also be assigned during the live meeting session once it is started. So will I be able to export the data of meetings hosted by your organization users? Yes, it is possible. We have analytics section here through which you can generate reports. Reports can be generated in the form of session count, session duration, and session history. So if you want to track the details, export the details with the session counts, you can also filter out based on the host. If you want to generate report by host basis, you can select the option from here. And you can also customize it with the range of last 7 days, 30 days, or you can go with the custom range option. To view the report, you can simply click on the title from here and you can find out the participant detail, their role, from which device they have joined in, and their in and out time and the duration they stayed in the session. All these details can be exported in an Excel format or CSV format. And this can also be protected with a password or you can hide personal information like email. We have files tab here. So from the files tab, you can manage your recordings in of your organization. All the recorded sessions will be available here and you can set up permissions for your recording link. If you want to share this recording link with any external participants, you can click on share option. And if you want to share with the outside users, you can select with anyone with the link option. If you want recording not to be accessed by anyone except the host and admin alone, you can select anyone with the link option. Or if you want to share the link with your organization users, like licensed user who are a part of your organization, you can select anyone in your organization. And you have an option of restricting recording downloads and you can also restrict the transcript. You can also manage your recording storage from here. You can download the recording and you can delete them to free up space. And we also provide add-on for your recording storage. And you can also generate transcripts for your recorded sessions. From the Files tab, you can manage the files which are uploaded to your meeting account. These files will be available for you to be played during the meeting session through the Share Files feature. So in case if you want few of the files to be always available for your account to be shared for every meetings, you can upload the files here. These files will be available always when you're doing a share files option during a live meeting session. Under the calendar option, you can find out the schedule meeting details, can manage your sessions. From this calendar itself, you can edit the session, start the session, and you can cancel the invite. So now, is there a way for you to make business phone calls within meeting? Yes, it is possible. We have a call section in Zoho Meeting. This is an integration with Zoho Voice. So through this calls feature, you can make and receive international business calls. So through the calls option here, you will get a dialer here. So in case if you have scheduled a meeting and if you want, if the participant haven't joined the session, to remind the participant, you can use this calls option, enter the number, call them, and you can invite them to join the session. You can also refer to your logs. You can also send SMS through this integration. Now, what is Zoho Meeting Rooms and how does the setup work? So this Zoho Meeting Rooms is designed especially to make your meetings more efficient and collaboration more efficient. So you can set up your virtual conference room in a physical meeting room and collaborate effectively with both remote participants and physical participants present in a meeting room. So to set up your meeting room, you can simply click on this Add Room option here, enter your room name and description, and you can click on the Save button. So once the room is added, an activation key and password will be generated. So you through the download center, you can download the controller for a Rooms application, which is available for your iOS device. And you can install the Zoho Meeting display application, which is available for Mac and Windows. Once the display application is installed, through the controller application, you can pair the display and you can manage your meetings rooms effectively using the controller application. And you can interact with both remote participant and physical participant through the meeting rooms. So you can conduct meetings on the go and you can attend sessions easily from anywhere using our iOS application, which is available in App Store. And you can download the Android application from Play Store. So now let's see the settings and manage portion of your Zoho Meeting account. I'm going to start with the initial settings. We'll discuss organization settings. We'll learn about user management and about security and privacy. Let's discuss this in detail. So now we saw how to schedule a meeting and how the meeting function works. So now let's see the settings portion. So we have My Settings, which is available for your users of your organization. And we have organization settings, which is available for your admins. So under the My Settings, you can set up your language preferences. You can set up language preferences. You can select a time format like this. Let me show you. So local information can be edited. You can set up default language, time format, and time zone from here. And we also have an option to enable use original audio. So during this session, if you do not want us to do any echo cancellation or optimizations on our end, you can use the original audio option from here. We have an option of add to Google Calendar. By default, if you want your events to be added to your Google Calendar, you can enable this option. And we have an option of virtual background. So during this session, if you want to provide virtual background option for both host, co-host, and participants, you need to enable this option here. So if this option is disabled, you will not have an option to enable virtual background for your meetings. Under general settings, we have automatic log meeting options. So if you want all your meetings to be logged automatically once you start them, you can enable auto log meetings. And as we saw that you can allow participants to join before the host, you can enable this option here so that while scheduling the meeting, by default, this option will be enabled. Chat notification can be enabled or disabled from here. And if you want to receive notification for the participants who are joining this session, you can enable this option. So it will play a notification sound when someone joins the session or leaves the meeting. So if you want to view the video feeds of muted participants, you can enable this option here. So it will show their profile picture avatars during the live meeting session if the video feed is muted. We have an option of display participants name on the video. And you can also specify the dial-in country as default. By default, it will be selected on United States. On the meeting invite, if you want to specify a country dial-in number, you can add the details from here. We also have an option to restrict a microphone entry of participants. So sometimes if you invite a large number of participants and if all joining the session with open microphone, it can cause disturbance in this session. To avoid that, you can restrict the microphone access for participants with a count. So either you can go with all participants, or you can restrict from 6 participant and up to 15th participant. And as we saw about end-to-end encryption, either while scheduling this session, you can enable end-to-end encryption option, or if you want all your sessions to be end-to-end encrypted by default, you can enable it from here. An end of session notification option will allow you to remind participants that a session will be ended on specific duration. For example, if you're scheduling a session for 30 minutes or an hour, you can remind participants with a time frame from here, like within before 5 minutes, that meeting will be ended in next 5 minutes. However, meetings will not be ended, as I told you, like unless the host or co-host ends it, the session will be active. This end of session notification is just a reminder for your participants that meeting is scheduled for a specific duration and it will be ended in the duration. Under recordings, you can select your layout. You can go with feeds of the preferred feeds for your recordings. It can be entire screen active speaker with shared screen or screen sharing alone. You can set up automatic recording of meetings from here. Transcriptions can be enabled from here. And if you want to generate a timestamp in the recorded video, you can enable it here. Show active speaker indicator, display participants' name in meeting recordings, and display muted video feeds in meetings. So now as an admin of the organization, you have an option of co-branding. You can rename your organization name from here. You can also upload the logo. Whatever logo which is uploaded will be sent in the email invite for your participants, and it will be displayed here on your home page. We have an option of camera sharing. So only if this is enabled, the participant as well as the host can enable their video during the session. If camera sharing is disabled, both the host and the participants cannot activate the camera during the meeting. As I told you, like the sessions can run up to 24 hours. If you want to go beyond 24 hours, you can enable extend session timeout. And if you want to use original audio as a default for your entire organization users, you can enable this option and you can also lock this setting. As an admin of your organization, you can also enable auto lock meetings option for everyone, and you can also lock this setting. Allow participants to join before host can also be enabled and locked. So by default, whatever the meeting sessions which your organization users conduct, it will be having this option where participants can join the session before the host. Content sharing can be restricted with all participants, and all participants will hold host approval or only the host. For example, if any participants want to share their screen, it should be on either all participants or all participants with host approval. If you select only host alone, so only the host and co-host of the meeting alone can share the screen. Audio type can be given for your participants. So if you want all participants to join the session only through computer audio, you can use this option. Or if you want to provide dial-in option, you can go with both. So they can switch to phone audio in case of network connectivity issues. And you can restrict sharing of files via meeting chat from here. So through the chat box, as you can see that you have an option to send an attachment. If you do not want the participants to misuse it, you can restrict the file sharing from here. Next we have is the important feature is called custom domain. So by default, the URL is meeting.zoho.com. So instead of that, if you want to have like meeting.yourcompanyname.com, so through the custom domain, you can add the domain here. Once the domain is added, you need to verify your ownership through your domain portal. You can log into your domain portal, submit the points to address with CNAME. Once the SSL is raised, we will receive the request on our end. And once it is certified, it will be changed. The link will be changed from meeting.zoho.com to meeting.yourcompanyname.com. So the custom domain URL will be sent in the meeting invite as well. So the link will contain your domain. Instead of meeting.zoho.com, it will have meeting.yourcompanyname.com followed by meeting session detail links. Under recordings, as an admin of your organization, you have an advanced recording settings available. So where you can select the layout for your entire organization users. As you can see here, you have all video feeds with shared screen, active speaker with shared screen or screen sharing alone. You can select your preferred option and you can also lock this setting or unlock it. So if the setting is locked, these settings will be default for your entire organization users. All these sessions will be recorded with the layout chosen here. Can set up storage, cloud storage quality for recording quality. An auto record meeting can be enabled for your entire organization users from here, and it can be logged. We also have an option for host can pause or stop the recording from here. You can set up auto transcription for meeting recordings, and you can enable user notifications. So for example, if the session is recorded and if you want to play a message that the session is being recorded, you can enable user notification from here. So it shows a consent message along with the IVR which notifies the users that this session is being recorded. So in this way, it can be useful if you want to notify if you're recording this session. This can be used also for privacy purpose. And advanced recording settings will have include a timestamp in recorded video, active speaker indicator, as we saw in the user setting as well, display participants' name in meeting recordings, and muted video feeds. And as an admin of the organization, you can prevent the host from accessing their recordings. So meaning when this option is enabled, only the admins of the organization alone will have access to the recording. The host of the own session will not have the access to the recorded sessions. You can prevent cloud sharing of recording, and you can restrict the recording download. Either it can be host alone or anyone with the link. You can also prevent host from deleting the recording. So when this is enabled, only the admin and super admin of the organization alone can delete the recording. Now coming to the user management tab. So here is where you can manage the licenses and users present to your organization. So to add users to your organization, you can simply click on the add button. You can enter your username, give their email address, select on which department you want them to be present, and you can define a role. We have two roles available. One is the administrator role and the other is the member role. So if you're giving them with the administrator role, they will have access to all the sessions scheduled within the organization and all the recordings, including the organization settings. So if you're giving them the member role, they will have access to only their sessions alone, their recordings alone, and their settings alone. Based on your requirement, you can assign a role to the user and you can click on the add button. If you want to add multiple users in a single go, can enter multiple email addresses separated by commas, select on which department you want them to add, define a role, and you can click on the add button. Once the user is added, if you want to modify their roles, you can click on this edit button and you can change the roles. We also have a departments option here. For example, if you have a bigger organization, if you want to have meetings in a more organized way, you can create departments by clicking on add departments here. You can give department name and a brief description about the department, and you can click on add. So once the department is created, you can add users to specific departments. And you can also define a role within the department. For example, if you do not want to give the administrator role for any users of your organization, for entire organization, you can provide them the department administrator role. So if a user is an admin within the department, so they will have access to session schedules only within the department and recordings only within the department. Even we have a setting here. If you do not want to give the recording access to your department admin, you can disable this option from here, recording access for department admin. So if this is disabled, they can only see the session schedule within the department of other users present, they will not have an access to the recordings. So if you want the department admin to have access to the recordings within the department alone, you can enable this option from here. So likewise, you can create multiple departments and add users to specific departments to have a meeting in more organized way. Next we have is the email settings. Here we have few important options. So here you can customize the senders from address and reply to address. So the default address is no reply at zohomeeting.com. Instead of that, if you want to the emails to be sent from host email address, you can select this option. Or if you have a custom email box, if you want to add the custom email address as a from address for your email invites, you can choose the custom email option here. If you are using the custom email, you need to verify the domain through domain management. You can add the domain and you need to verify it. Once the domain is verified, it can be used as custom email address. And if the domain is verified, it also ensures that the emails will land in the inbox rather than on spam or junk folders. Similarly, you can configure the reply to address for either host email or custom email. Under security, we have privacy details provided here. You can learn more about right to eraser. Even you can also automatically anonymize your personal data. Under action logs, you can find out the actions taken within your organization. Where, for example, if any setting is changed, you can find out on which period of time it was changed. And you can also apply filter to find out based on users, levels, categories, duration, and within departments. All these details can also be exported in the Excel format or CSV format, and this file can also be protected with a password. And we have a data cleanup option. So either you can set up a session and session reports and recordings to be never clean up session reports and recording data, or if you want the sessions reports and recordings data to be deleted at specific defined interval of time, you can select this option. Minimum it has to be 12 months. Similarly, you can set up action logs viewer and you can set up erase action logs older than specify the months, and you can click on the update. Under the subscription tab, you can upgrade your subscription as per your requirement. So now let's see the integrations. So Zoho Meeting can be integrated with the various Zoho applications as well as third-party applications. So let's discuss this in detail. So we have a dedicated integration section here. So to integrate with Zoho Meeting with in-house application like Zoho CRM, Zia integration, calls, Zoho Click, you can enable the integration from here. For example, if you're using Zoho CRM and if you want to create a Zoho meeting session and online meeting conference within CRM itself, you can enable the integration from here. Once it is integrated with Zoho CRM, you need not to come to Zoho Meeting for creating an online meeting. From your CRM itself, you can create meetings and you can launch it. And you can also find the details of your leads, and you can find a record of your meetings details from your CRM itself. Through the Zia integration, you can generate keynotes and summary for your recorded meeting session. This is a collaboration with OpenAI ChatGPT's account. So you can just submit the API key and you can save it. Zia integration will be enabled for your Zoho Meeting account. So if this session is recorded, automatically keynotes and summary can be generated for your recorded sessions. We have an integration with RevAI. So through the RevAI account, you can obtain the access token and save it on our platform. So if RevAI integration is enabled, so for your live meeting sessions and webinar sessions, you can have a live transcription like captions during the meeting session itself. So as we saw about the calls, this is powered by Zoho Voice. And the Zoho Click, if you're enabling integration with Zoho Click and if you're using Zoho Click, so it will also remind you whenever a meeting is scheduled, it will send you a notification and remind us, and even about the recordings. Once the recording is processed, Click will notify you via bot. We have an integration with Begin. So from Begin, if you want to create an online meeting, you can enable integrations. Similarly for Zoho Projects and Connect. We also have an extension for Microsoft Teams. So you can install the extension, the integration with the Zoho Microsoft Teams. Once the integration is enabled from your Microsoft Teams, you can create an online meeting session powered by Zoho Meeting. And we have an plugin for Outlook. So through this extension, you can download the plugin. So once the plugin is installed from your Outlook account, you can create meetings, and you can also manage your meetings from your Outlook calendar. We provide an add-on for Gmail, extension for Zoho Mail as well. And we have an important integration with Zoho Bookings. So this is useful. For example, if you want to give you an appointment link for your participant to select based on your availability, they can pick the calendar and schedule a meeting. You can integrate with Zoho Bookings and create an appointment link. Once the meeting is scheduled, so once the appointment link is generated, they will have an option to select an online conference with Zoho Meeting. So through the appointment booking link, they can pick your available time slot and schedule a meeting for you. So this is an important integration. Like if you want to share your calendar with your participants, you can integrate with Zoho Bookings and share the appointment link with them. And we also have an integration with Zoho Flow. So if you want to automate your meeting process, you can use the Zoho Flow integration. Next we have is the API. So if you have your own website, Zoho Meeting can be integrated using your API. So what you need to do is you need to register your application by using Zoho Developers Console. Once the application is registered, so you can authorize a grant and obtain an access token. So through the API documentation, you can find out the detailed steps here. And once the authentication process is completed, you can create meeting using API. You can list meeting, can edit meeting, get meeting, and delete meeting. So if you have your own website, you can integrate our platform completely within your website itself. We also have an option of SDK. So through the if you want to if you have your own platform and if you want to launch your meeting session, like if you want to load the iframe of Zoho Meeting within your platform itself from where you can conduct meeting session, you can use our web SDK. So here you need to register your domain information here, you can configure, and then you can integrate with your application. All the information related to SDK will be available in this documentation. You can find out the steps to create an instant meeting session, schedule a session, get a list of session, get into a session, and convert a normal session into SDK session. So now here using the download option, you can download the desktop application, can find out the links to your iOS application, Android application. We also have an option of Chrome extension. So once you install the Chrome extension, using the extension, you can start your meeting sessions and schedule it. Similarly, we have an extension for Microsoft Edge. And as we discussed about Outlook plugin, it can also be downloaded from here. Under the profile icon, we also provide a multi-portal option for the members of your organization. Users of your organization can be present in multiple portals. They can create new organizations from their account by using this option. The super admin can be a part of only one portal, but the users who are a part of your organization can create multiple portals, and they can have different types of subscription on their account. So now what is in our pipeline? So we have email customization for meeting module in our pipeline. So where you can customize the email invites and reminder emails, which is sent to your participants. We are working on it. Hopefully it will be released in the upcoming updates. We have a bulk download for recordings and contacts on groups. We are working on it, which you can see in near future. If you have any questions, you can raise it over Q&A. We have a dedicated panelist who will answer your questions. So now let's see a few of the frequently asked questions about Zoho Meeting. So how secure is Zoho Meeting? So Zoho Meeting is absolutely safe and secure. So all transmissions are sent through SSL 256-bit AES encryption protocol, which are the industry standard security practice. The same standard is used in the online banking and payment transaction. So Zoho Meeting is highly safe and secure. How many participants we support in a meeting session? So we scale up to 250 participants in our online meeting. This lab starts with minimum of 10 participants and it will go up to 25, 50, 100, 150, 200 and 250 participants. Is there a time limit for a free plan and how many participants are allowed? We do have a free plan, and in free plan the features are limited and all the sessions will be limited to 60 minutes and you can have up to 100 participants in the free edition. So you can spread the word, you can share your experience on social platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can use the hashtag Zoho Meeting to share your experience. So I'm going to launch a survey. On a scale of 1 to 5, you can rate this webinar. I hope this session was beneficial for you. Thank you all for joining today's session. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Take care.